Zambia has one of the fastest growing populations in sub-Saharan Africa. The population has been growing at a rate of about 3% per year from the early 2000s to date. This is an increase over the annual rate of population growth of 2.4% per annum recorded in the 1990s. The population of Zambia, like global and regional populations, is undergoing unprecedented experiences of aging. While Zambia may not be classified as an aging country due to its youthful population, the process has already been initiated, and the absolute number of people aged 60 and above is growing tremendously. It is this very age group that is experiencing numerous challenges in as far as access to basic needs such as shelter and health care is concerned. The situation has also resulted in several older persons getting to the streets to beg. Begging is one of the social problems in many developing countries. It involves various activities through an individual requesting fellow community members, mainly strangers, for money or food on the basis of being poor. A number of elderly people flock to various locations in Lusaka's central business district. This is despite the crowded space around the CBD, mainly with its busy business community, characterized by heavy traffic.
I come here to look for food. If you just stay home, you will not eat anything and your children will not go to school.
I use the same money from here to pay for their school fees and use some for home needs like food.
The Civil Society for Poverty Reduction, CSPR, says poverty itself has contributed to the number of the aged going to the streets to ask for alms.
People don't end up on the streets, especially the elderly, on the streets to beg by choice. No, I think they end up on the street due to push factors, not really that there's any incentive which is attracting them on the streets. They also, at the end of the day, need to afford a proper meal. They need to afford decent clothing. And they've got no option but to fall back on the very society which has raised them for 60 years plus for help.
It is encouraging to note that government is doing its best to mitigate the suffering of the vulnerable but viable citizens through the social cash transfer scheme.
I think the social cash transfer is just one of the ways that the ministry has put in to reduce destitution. And I can tell you that even when we're identifying these households for the social cash transfer program, we actually target households that are very poor. You find that these are households that may not even have a meal in the day. These are households that may not have any support coming from families or even from other organizations. So yes, this is a program that is aimed to at least reduce some level of destitution. In terms of payments, we pay them, yes, twice, like after 2 months. But the beauty is that the social cash transfers are quite predictable. We know that by this time they are going to get payment.
73-year-old Christopher Msonda is a beneficiary of the social cash transfer scheme. He feels the 90 kwacha which he is currently receiving is not enough and takes long to be released.
Sometimes months pass without receiving the money. Last time it came after 6 months and they paid us in December. That 180 kwacha finishes in 2 weeks.
After 2 weeks.
However, Families and Nations says dependence on government handouts is not a solution. Executive Director Judith Mwila is emphasizing on the need to plan. Mrs. Mwila strongly feels that establishing strong family structures that will support the aged are vital, whilst Top Zambia has other suggestions.
Much as the government has this social cash transfer, social services that can support older persons, even the challenged people, let's not depend on handouts. Because I think also older persons, they should know that one day they will not be able to work, one day they will not be able to go to an office. What is going to happen to them? So as children, and as a nation ourselves, and I want to take this opportunity to talk about the family development policies. We need to know, how are we going to usher our families into a different stage of life? We need to have that.
Many older people have been self-sustaining members of society and have developed problems of adaptation only at an older age. Without support, which is attributed to, among other things, loss of a spouse, families, job income, and physical health, threaten the fulfillment of their daily living needs and life satisfaction.